welcome to the Point in Progress.
Sorry.
Damn it, Sly! That was gonna be the one. I felt it in my butt. It's always the second one. Now you're gonna condemn me to the cursed third one, and I'm gonna mess it up all the time.
I was just gonna say the Canadians have conditioned me into now saying it wrong, and so like whenever I say like process or progress or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Process
you don't do
and progress both.
You emphasize the
fucked
O.
Me up with the
process.
O.
Sorry.
Damn it, I'm gonna say that.
I'm sorry,
Right.
Fee.
Progress? What?
Progress?
That's progress.
Progress.
Progress? Progress?
Progress. Progress.
Progress?
Yeah.
Progress.
Poggers.
Poggers?
Yeah, it's progress.
Yeah, progress.
Yeah, progress.
Apple.
How is it progress? Where the fuck is the A, my dude?
Progress.
What's wrong with all of you? Progress.
Is it egg or is it
progress
A?
has been made.
Is it
What
egg
the
or is
fuck
it
are
A?
you talking about? Where is the A?
We're back, baby. We're back. We're back.
I like to eat apples and bananas.
Oh my god! You just unlocked something in my mind.
Oh my god! All right, hold on. Let me say this intro here really quick because Uber's also messaging me saying that my food's never gonna get here and I should just jump off a bridge. Hello and welcome to the Point in Progress podcast, your late night sneaky link for what's going on in the world of TV, gaming, and news. My name is Frank, and I'm joined by my rogues gallery of hosts. I'll start with Mario. Mario, how have you been doing this week? You were talking about before the podcast. You've had some life-changing experiences both at home and at work. How you doing, man? You need a hug?
Yeah, oh, fuck yeah, dude. No, I want one of those hugs. Like you see those like little memes where it's like the couples like laying on top of each other, like watching anime or something. I need that. That's what I need. Wherever that is, I need that.
Hug. That's not a hug, my friend.
No, that's a cuddle. I need a cuddle.
That's a cuddle. That is post-sex like cigarette in the mouth cuddle.
Yo, you want to watch Naruto? Let's go.
I'm good. Mario is also joined by our other co-host here, Sly. Sly, how are you doing today? How have you been? I haven't seen you in like 4 weeks.
Well, last week I was sick as fuck, so that was fun. But yeah, other than that, I'm fine. I'm vibing. Apparently my existence is hateful content violation on TikTok Live, so that's been fun. I got banned on TikTok Live yesterday.
Wait, what?
Mid-show.
How did you get banned on TikTok?
For hateful content.
Oh my god!
I was talking about gay shit.
Oh, okay. I was about to say hateful content, and here I am posting videos about slashing demons in half and blood and gore.
I thought you got banned because you talk shit about Jay Stubes on Twitter.
Oh my god, did you get fucking taken down by who? Jay Stews?
Jay Stubes from their oh hey Joe Ruggles, how you doing? They're a popular Marvel TikToker.
I did not post that tweet for 5 days because I have friends who are close friends.
I was wondering why you were attacking them 5 days after the fact.
And then I posted the question to the group chat. It was like, hey, how are we feeling about this? And also I was inebriated. And I said, fuck it, and post sent. So,
all the best things done, though, are when you're inebriated, honestly. So let's be real.
You say that as Fee takes down.
I stand by everything I said, but it was
good timing. And then also, not banned, joined by Sly, is our lovely other co-host, Fee. Fee, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in like almost 2 months.
I'm doing great.
Doing great.
For the audio listeners, Fee just held up a stemless wine glass that was mostly full and just continued pouring alcohol into it.
Now she's drinking out. She said, fuck the glass. I might as well just kill the rest. So in the, what is it? Actually, like 5 minutes this podcast has started, Fee is already downed a whole bottle of wine. Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Bravo.
I'm doing absolutely delightful. I have been doing work stuff
Mm-hmm.
which has resulted in me spending a month and a half focusing only on that for the most part. So this is my today was officially my last day doing that, so I'm now not doing that anymore. I'm still going to be working with said group, but I've finished that, so that was a lot of fun. So I've been doing that and enjoying this bottle of wine because I told everybody that I would in fact drink this entire bottle of wine
You
today,
did.
and I was just like, you know what, I am going to do this and some. So at some point I'm probably going to leave to go get another drink.
Just go get another bottle. Let's just down like 3 bottles by the end of this. You're back in the office, isn't it?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right, yeah. How is that transition back? I never asked because you've been back in the office for a good little bit now.
Correct. For 2 months. Honestly, it's very weird. It is very empty in the office. Um, but I have the problem is with all of this is my morning commute is I get on the bus, and my bus takes me right to work, but instead of getting off at work, I get off a few stops ahead of time to go to Starbucks. And
Mm-hmm.
boy howdy, do I have fucking points galore with Starbucks now. I have bought a mug with my points. It's points, all points, points, points. So all I do is been drinking Starbucks every morning, and it's been a lot. And my bank is crying. So
That's literally me and
and
Uber like every day now at this point.
and now as the boomers tell me, I'm not going to be able to afford a house for my entire lifetime because I've been drinking Starbucks for the past 2 months. So that's been really great. No, but overall it's been really good. I've learned quite a bit. And quite frankly, I'm probably still going to go into the office because honestly it's like a nice change of pace. Also, we've been hit with multiple heat waves over the past month and a half, and that entire building is AC'd to hell. So it is fridges as I just wear sweaters all the time. It is fantastic.
That sounds amazing.
It's amazing. I would sit down with my sweater, I have my own little desk, I have all my sticky notes, and it's pretty great. So yeah, it's been pretty good.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. And then for me here, I haven't been on just because I've been sick as well. I caught the flu, not COVID. Somehow I didn't catch COVID, but I caught the fucking flu. Don't know how that happens, but hey, the test says negative. I believe it. Other than that, we've just been working, doing other stuff and everything like that. I've been kind of busy doing outside stuff, hanging out with friends and stuff like that. So life has been good on my front here, other than obviously getting deathly sick and having to take 3 days off of work. But yeah, other than that, apparently Harv is dead. We're finding it out here, and I killed him. That's what it says here in the notes. Harv is dead and Frick killed him. Apparently I am now a FEMA agent. I've been a double agent this whole time. The reason why everyone has been kidnapped on this podcast by FEMA is because of me. I've been feeding them information, and now Harv is the first to be a victim to FEMA.
So that's what it means. Harv is on vacation.
Yeah, he's on vacation. We put him in a plastic box somewhere in the Bermuda. But anyway, but yeah, also I have to mention this just because it's a legal thing. My attorney said I actually have to talk about this. I am legally binded to play Fortnite with Mario. Unfortunately, we made a binding contract. I have to play 3 games of Fortnite with Mario in exchange for the Fortnite Battle Pass with Dragon Ball Z Goku.
That's right.
And I also get a 10-piece chicken nugget. Can you figure out which one I actually wanted out of this deal?
Not only that, though, it was a 2-page document. I did a line.
That's right.
After Mario gives him the battle pass and chicken McNuggets, but then I drew a line, and then on the other side of the paper was a line leading up to, and also gay now.
Yeah, so we had to rectify that because I'm not gay, right? So I was like, how about this? I will be after this. I will now be 0.01% more gay than I was before. And he's like, yeah, that works. Look, I can't be part of something that I'm not. You know what I mean? You know how it is. But anyway, also apparently Paper Girls was poggers.
Yes, talking about, of course, the little live show we did that weekend where we watched the finale episode. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Amazon, for giving us that opportunity. It's our second opportunity with them. Hopefully there's more in the future.
Hell yeah. And how was Paper Girls? You've watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. No, I think it's a really good adaptation. I've actually been reading the book. I'm on book 3 as of right now, so I basically have covered everything that's happens in season 1. I think the show is actually better in a lot of ways. It is a lot lower budget, clearly. There's things that they're just not going to probably do, but I think what they did best was to focus on the characters themselves. Oh my God, Harv is alive! He's in the he's in the chat. Oh no! Oh, this is a female account.
Yeah, it's not Harv.
Oh no!
We got the account. We had to torture him a little bit for the password.
We did.
Surprisingly pretty easy. We just smacked him around a little bit. He was like, oh, okay, fine, here's the password. So this is my female agent Clyde. He's a good guy. He's also Canadian. He's from Saskatchewan. So yeah, shout out to Clyde.
I just want to know how you somehow hacked into his Twitch account and made him say that. That's incredible.
No, we're not hacked. No, he gave us the password. We're female. We get everything out of everybody.
Voluntarily under duress.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh, and here's the picture of
here's the document where it says Mario will buy Frank 10-piece chicken McNuggets. He says specifically he wants the McDonald's McNuggets and the battle pass if Frank plays at least 3 times. So you have to play with me at least 3 times, and then on the back it just says and is gay now.
And as you see, I had to fix it a little bit.
What is that? 0.01%?
Yes.
So there you go. It's on our Twitter account. I just posted it on Twitter.
Nice. It's like you know how you have your heritage, like you do your DNA at me, and they're like you're 0.01% like Spanish or some shit, right? And then, so I guess in my DNA now, because of this binding contract, I'm now 0.01% gay. It's a legally binded contract. My lawyer looked this over and she was like, yeah, it's fine.
On the document, there is a signature for his lawyer. A lawyer did go over this. We have to notarize this.
By the way, it's not a real lawyer. It was our other coworker, Kieran. Shout out to Kieran for being my lawyer for free.
Love it.
Can you be a lawyer for somebody if you don't charge them money?
I mean, I've watched Better Call Saul, sure.
Yeah.
Like pro bono? But you have to be part of the bar to even be called a lawyer, right? Like legally?
Fuck if I know.
Can I just find some guy off the street and be like, you want to be my lawyer?
No.
The only law I know is just Saskatchewan law.
You're a notary.
Yeah.
You can get, basically anybody can become a notary.
Okay.
You can get
I didn't know
anything
that.
notarized.
Okay, so I'm looking at this here, and it says conversation themes the rehearsal. Somebody TLDR me. What is the rehearsal? Who wrote this?
So that conversation themes usually. I mean, if you want to do it at the beginning of the show, that's fine. I watched it as well. So
is it a TV show?
It is a TV show. If you haven't, since you probably have seen more of it, I've only seen the first episode. Feel free to.
I want to let you know. I watched this literally before I came here.
Oh, the whole thing.
Okay.
No, I just watched one episode.
Oh, cool. So we're on the same page.
Fresh.
We're on the same page then.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. It's as if someone took my mind and then made it into a television show. It is the most
What
absurd.
is this?
Okay, so I'm gonna set the scene for you.
Okay, I'm not gonna look it up yet.
Yeah,
there's a man in his townhouse, and he's like watching Jeopardy and is answering some of the questions, and he hears a knock at the door. So he goes to the door, and a guy walks in, and it's Nathan Fielder. And if you don't know who Nathan Fielder is, by all means, just wait a moment as I explain who this man is. So he comes in and makes some comments. He's just like, man, there's a lot of doors here. And then he makes a few comments about like, oh, should I keep my shoes on? Should I keep them off? Oh, or maybe I should take my shirt off or keep it on again. Ha 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 ha. And then they go to the guy's bookshelf and he's just like, oh, you have like a lot of books and things here. And he's just like, yeah, I have like a lot of media and collections. And there's one that says like how to be really good at sex, and he's just like, oh, we'll like we're very much alike, and they're making jokes. And then they sit down and have a conversation about why Nathan is there. And the reason why Nathan is there is the person is looking to, like, he's kind of talking about his life and also the fact that he has essentially like, it's a group that he goes with every week. And
it's a trivia group.
It's a trivia group. And you find out that he actually lied about the fact that he doesn't have a master's, he just has a bachelor's. And then Nathan opens up about the idea almost in like a kind of like wall breaking moment, explaining why he's there in the first place was because he has lived out this entire scenario thousands of times. He has a factory on the outskirts of Brooklyn, and he has this entire like inside this like abandoned warehouse is like an entire replica of this guy's home.
That's right.
From the front to the back to
Yes.
absolutely everything set up. Because what happened was he's just like, "Do you remember last week when there was a group that came in because of a gas leak?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I remember this." And he's like, "That wasn't a gas leak. That was my team. And they took an entire scan of your entire apartment and made a total virtual like outline and like overlay of your entire apartment, and we replicated it to the T."
Yes.
What
And
kind of
so
Black Mirror shit is this? What
and
the
then
fuck?
Straight up
and then
Black Mirror, dude. It's not even
and then he
close.
hired someone who looks like almost like very close
An
to
actor
him,
that's exactly identical to him.
and he he lived out this entire conversation a multiple times. And then what they did was they played moments when he had that conversation with the actor to the real person and how identical they were. And it's this entire conversation so he could get confident with the and find out what the best scenario was, because the actor actually took the rehearsal, or specifically the rehearsal interview that this person had, and took it and watched all the mannerisms and saw how he reacted to certain things, because he was asked multitude of different questions. So he had this entire repertoire of like the mannerisms, how he'd react, what he would do. And so he outlived all they outplayed all of these different scenarios, and he's just like,
Think of
what
it. Think of it as like a skill tree.
I understand. No, this is
but
makes
like
total sense.
But like a skill tree from like a Beyond Two Souls game where it just goes into so many directions. Like they play out all of those instances. And
it's basically like safe scumming, but for real life. So it's like, hey, let me try this dialogue option. Oh, it didn't work. Let me reload my save and try again. Oh, this one now gets me farther. Okay, let me try this dialogue branch or something like that. That makes total sense. It's fucking creepy as shit. That's some you stuff right there. But
oh yeah,
I get it.
It gets crazier. It gets
even weirder.
crazier.
So what happened in this episode was he's just like, how would you feel if we reenacted or specifically played out the scenario that you would have with your friend, who specifically he was concerned about, because he's just like, she's going to get upset when I explain the fact I don't have a master's. And Nathan's just like, I don't really understand why she would be upset, but how about we replicate that entire moment? And he's just like, it took a little bit of convincing. I'm not going to go into explaining how that happens, because you need to watch to find out how he convinces them. And he's just like, there is a trivia night. I can get her to come to this trivia night with me. And so they're like, okay, where's the location? They take this entire warehouse and they replicate the entirety of the bar.
entire bar, even like the way, even the way like the photo is crooked. They got the same photo and they made it crooked.
Yeah, there's a full working bar.
Yes,
they have live taps. Everything is there, and he's just like, how to the moment. He's just like, okay, so I have this computer that has and we're going to be running these programs and scenarios, and so there's an entire like flow chart of what would happen.
Yes,
in any scenario, including to the moment where he's just like, he's about to tell her that he has he only has a bachelor's degree, but then the bartender comes over and asks if you want to drink, and he's just like, okay, so if you're about to tell her, you need to make sure you're not finished your drink, so the bartender doesn't come over to interrupt you.
Yes,
because if you have half of your drink, so you have to take mini sips before you do this. And then he had a specific table at the bar, and then when they finally get to the bar, to the wrinkle, everything is identical. It is absolutely terrifying, and I'm like, this is literally what happens in my brain, because I think of like almost like every scenario that could happen. I'm like, okay, from best to worst scenario, what's gonna happen? And then it's just like you play it out in your head, and I'm like, oh my god, this is horrendous. And like I was sitting beside Lucas, and he's laughing because he's just like, this must be like what happens in your brain and constantly. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. And they were just talking about the fact that it's just like so many different things that were being pointed out, and I'm like, I don't like this.
One of my favorite parts in it was, I think at one point during the real scenario, a couple was sitting in the chair in which they were supposed to sit in and I think they actually had a version of that in the rehearsal of what to say in order to get them to move. And it was like, they planned everything, literally anything wrong that could possibly happen. They found a way to still pull it through. And there's a moment where you're like, is this person going to go through what they're here for and totally blow this whole thing? And honestly, it was riveting the entire way through. So it's wild, and this is only episode 1.
Well, there's gonna be more scenarios, more rehearsals. It makes sense though, because like when Fee said it the first time, like with the warehouse and everything like that with the person, I was thinking the same thing. It was just like, if you were somebody who had the capacity to do something like that, would you do something like that, right? Like, wouldn't you want to be prepared for almost every scenario? Wouldn't you want your experience to be the perfect experience? Like when we play, like we're all gamers here. We've all played games like Mass Effect and Dragon Age, Fallout, all these things that are very story driven but have choices, right? And we've all done it where we've looked up like what is the best choice to get the best ending. And in a way, the rehearsal is the best ending for your personal life, right? Like, how do you get the best ending out of all the scenarios you constantly do? Because as humans, we're gonna fuck up. We're gonna say some dumb shit at some point, right? So that I think that's kind of cool. I would love to. I can kind of see it in my head the way you're describing it. I would love to see it on screen, just to kind of see like how that compares. But that sounds like a really cool show.
It's a fucking weird show. And if you've never seen Nathan Fielder's stuff before, I think it was Let Fielder for You, I think is the name of the show. One of my favorite ones was what was it? It was where he tried to do, or like you get free gas, but you had to just mail in a rebate, but you couldn't mail just in a normal mailbox. You had to find a mountain like that was not far, and then buses of people would drive to it, and it was sort of like a last man standing kind of thing, and it was just hilarious. That and the kids, him getting arrested because he had a robot that would rip his pants off if he didn't like undo his caps. That was so funny.
I also posted a photo in our general chat. Just
I'm looking at it right now.
So that's okay. As a heads up, the second photo that's in that like in there is what the inside of the bar looks like. This is the actual bar from Yelp.
Ooh,
yeah, there you go.
So, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's kind of cool. There is a little bit like difference. There's just a slight difference, but other than that, it's perfect.
They're from different times. There's to the point where in that moment when they were going to the bar, he's just like, turn around and look up. There is a smiley face balloon that's exactly in the same position as it is at the bar. And so like where he was sitting, you could technically just like look up and see the smiley face balloon in either scenario, whether he was in the fake bar or the real bar. And it's just like to the T, because I know like some people like they'll like at least I'm only speaking from my experience, where you're just thinking of like, okay, this is what I'm currently like, if like in this like section like right here. So like let's say I'm sitting in here in this room, I'm thinking like, okay, how are different scenarios going to play out? Or if I'm at work, I'm like, okay, I know that my sticky notes were like in this specific section, or like the way that it was turned, and like when this specific thing happened, I know that the room looked like this. And it's just wild that it's like, and the person that he was helping called him Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
And I love the fact at the end they actually played
Pure Imagination.
song. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, so good. So I'm very excited to watch more. It was just very, I've never seen Black Mirror before. Like I've never watched a series.
Oh shit. You'd love it.
But this isn't the, like, when I say like this is some Black Mirror shit, this wouldn't be like this wouldn't be the entirety of it.
Yeah.
This would be like an episode of Black Mirror.
Yes.
Oh no, for sure. Yeah. Like I understand. But I would, even though I have never watched it before, I would definitely compare this to a Black Mirror episode because of just the nuance and like explanation I've received from about that show. But it was so weird. It was wild. Would highly recommend it. And even at the end, I'm not going to say what happens, but there's a specific point, and Mario knows what happens. I would highly recommend to watch the episode, because there's just a moment where he has to think about it and think about, like, essentially it's like playing like an Until Dawn game where you have to think about the path. Like, if I say this, it's going to cause this specific reaction. So would highly recommend it. I'm gonna watch more, and then we can come back and talk about it next week.
Yeah, it also kind of reminds me of those. Have you ever seen those military like scenario kind of things that they create? Like they'll create like a fake New
Oh
York
yeah.
to replicate if like Russians were to attack or something like that. And it's like this is the same kind of thing. It's like let's create a fake thing with a fake scenario and see how this plays out so that you're ready for it when it comes to the day. I like the premise. I think it's kind of cool. It's definitely, I want to say it's been like it's 100% written by somebody who's played a game like Mass Effect and all those other ones, but it could, it could be anything, right?
Yeah, they just got approved for season 2, so they're going to continue
Okay.
doing more of this. It's available on HBO Max in the States, which yeah.
Oh, I was just
Okay.
gonna say for Canadians, it is available on Crave. So if you have Crave, it's available there.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're gonna move into what we've been playing. I'm gonna start with Fee. Fee, what have you been playing?
So I've been playing 3 things. I'm gonna keep the first one that I have listed it for last. First is I've been playing Plate Up. It is a roguelike cooking game, which if you're like, Fiona, that doesn't make any sense. What is a roguelike cooking game? So if you're familiar with like Overcooked, the premise of the story is you are cooks or how many cooks are joined and you get to select a specific food that you sell as well as the format or the layout of your restaurant. And each time you go complete a level, you get more items. You can level up specific items to be able to get better versions of it. For example, okay, I got a dishwasher. If I put it in the file cabinet to upgrade, I could then get essentially like a power washer, and then the next time if I want to do it again, I could level it up and then get an actual dishwasher. And if you get one specific order incorrect, the game ends and then you have to start from the beginning. And so it is a start to finish. It is a lot of fun, would highly recommend it. I will admit, since I have been essentially adulting for the past 2 months, my gaming experience, especially when we've tried to play this, is I can play a few rounds and then I will start falling asleep while playing it. But that's just overall. Oh, I'm looking forward to actually playing it when I'm not completely falling asleep. So I look forward to playing that at a later time. I've been playing Murder by Numbers, which is a video game that came back that was released, I believe, in 2019 or 2020. And the entire premise is there's murders that happen and you have to solve it with your pal. Your am I what's happening, Mario?
I was fixing your camera.
Oh.
Yeah, just making you more in focus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're welcome.
That makes sense. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
No
I wanted the skull in the background too.
Oh, you want the skull in the background. Yeah. Well, sorry, I got distracted. I saw that
Sorry.
moving around. And I'm just like, what's going on? What's happening? I'm just like, doot, doot,
Oh, I'll point out if something's wrong. I was just fixing the camera. I thought it'd make better if it looked better this way.
No, I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
So yes, it was released in 2020. I'm just checking here. And then it was released on Stadia in 2021. And the premise is you have to collect information, or at least clues, with your pal named Scout. And for a Scout to be able to scan the items or like clues, you have to do nonograms, which are essentially you get a grid and it says it's almost the best way to kind of describe it is almost like Minesweeper. So you have to like it'll say like there's 5 in this particular row and then there's like 7 in this column. So you have
I
to
have that app on my phone.
yes. So there's a lot of stuff and then once you've completed it, it creates an image. So some people kind of consider like notograms almost like paint by numbers, but like a mathematical way of doing it. But it's very fun. Would highly
That
yeah,
looks
that's what
great.
it looks like. So you fill that out. That's the same one I have. I've actually 2 on my phone now. But it's
I
kind
have
of a
both
fun
of them as well.
yes. Woo. One of them is very like almost I'm trying to think like the art style is almost like Grease, like Gris, and then that one is
Oh.
like the standard one. But yeah, it's a visual novel style, almost like an Ace Attorney game where they have like eccentric characters that you find, and then you're trying to figure out who the murderer is. With the main character who's named Honor, and she's trying to figure out what the hell is happening, because the first thing that happens is her boss gets fired, and she was a detective in a TV show, but then thought that she could bring that information or like experience into the actual murder of her boss. And then other things just start happening around her, which is nuts. I'm not going to go into it, but Scout doesn't know his past at all. He had a major reboot and then woke up and Honor found him. So we don't know Scout's past, but it kind of seems a little sketchy from where I am. I'm currently 2 out of 4 cases completed. I did start it last year, but then I took a major hiatus. So I'm getting back into it. I recently got a new sofa. Finally, Fiona finally got a new sofa, which I was planning on actually recording there. But I honestly just sit on my sofa and play this on Stadia. So it's an easy way to do it. So that's been another game. And then the last but not least, I've been playing the best battle royale. Yeah, fuck you, Fortnite. Is Naraka.
Naraka.
It is,
Yep.
and every single time people keep on saying, "Oh, I'm really interested in playing," but no one ever wants to play with me. If you want to
Look.
play Naraka with me, play. Yeah, people are looking away from me right now. I see you.
Look, all right. I've been playing a absolute ass ton of No Man's Sky. It's very hard to get pulled away from that game.
Okay, so anyway, I'm gonna talk to my real friends now, who are the audience. So I've been playing, I've been playing Naraka. Yeah, well, maybe one of them would like to play Naraka with me. So I've been playing Naraka. If you are not familiar, it is a battle royale that recently was released in the West. It was out for a year. In I believe it was released in China, Korea, Japan, and I believe other countries. I'm just trying to remember which ones. But there are a set type of there's set specific characters. You get sent onto this map and you're trying to win before essentially time runs out. One time I did in fact end up finding out what happens at the very end if no one kills each other, which results in a tie, but you essentially see the end of the world, which is kind of funky. But instead of the usual like guns and building things, you get different things, like weapons such as swords, there's cannons, there's nunchucks, bows, crossbows, the most broken weapon in the game, which is a great sword. If you've played Naraka, you know what I'm referring to. That sword is fucking bonkers. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's the different characters themselves have different abilities. The character who I've been playing the most recently is Yodohime, who has an essentially, and I said that the great sword is broken. She has an ability where she summons a massive great sword and just flies up in the air and just starts swiping people slowly but surely. But then there's other characters that are more support, who are like Harumi, who heals or stuns people. There's Viper, who will stun everybody in a specific radius. But yeah, the storyline's really interesting. The characters themselves, they have their own like story arcs that you can go through, and the art style is really fantastic. They have like a very traditional style to them, and it's I wasn't expecting to like the game as much as I did. Unfortunately, due to work, I didn't get to complete the battle pass the last time around.
Oh
um
no, not
I
the battle
know,
pass.
I know, I got to 109 out of 130. But I plan on playing it this round. What? Why are you looking around?
No, it's like most standard battle passes end at like 100 and there's like bonus levels, but I was just like, damn, this not even finished. That's crazy.
No.
Yeah, like a lot of them have like a lot of new ones have like up to like 200 now.
My God.
No, I know. I think Siege has up to 200. I could be wrong on that though.
So many.
Yeah, it's a lot of levels, but honestly, it's just a lot of fun. I played with Frank a little bit after he
Like 2
butchered
games.
my character, because you can actually do character creation in this particular game, which I've talked about previously, and butchered Kurumi, which made me very upset. And then I played a little bit with Frank. I've been Frank, Harv, my
Mm.
apologies. And
Or
then I've
Clyde,
been playing with,
technically.
yes, Clyde. And then I've been playing with Lucas. So it's been honestly the game that's been taking up the most of my time when I'm free. But if anyone is interested in playing with me, I'm just Cyranix as per usual. And yeah, it's the storyline's very cool. They just released a new character who I've heard has a shrilling voice, but I have to check out and see what's going on with that one. But yeah, would highly recommend if you're looking for a battle pass that's not a generic shooter. Yeah.
I just want to
Don't roll
mention.
your eyes.
I just want to mention. Dustin says No Man's Sky can definitely make you lose 8 hours at a time. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I've lost days at a time. I don't even know what week it is actually. Oh shit, we're in August. Fuck.
That got me.
Speaking of generic shooters, Mario, what have you been playing this week?
I have been playing. Of course, I still been playing Fortnite. I've actually completed the battle pass for the season, so I have Dark Vader. But the real reason I want to talk about it is because they've added Dragon Ball Z content that is an addition to the battle pass. I actually don't know if you need the battle pass to do it, but I assume so because that seems to be a lot of the stuff. If you have the battle pass, you can do the additional activities. But they actually brought up some kind of cool shit with it. So it is a battle pass where you do quests just like you do everything else, but the quests then lead you to get Dragon Balls. If you collect all 7 Dragon Balls, you actually summon the dragon from Dragon Ball Z, and that is your float as you come down on the island. The characters that you can buy are, of course, Goku, Vegeta, Beatrice, which is a character I don't know about. The only character I give a fuck about is anything from the Cell Saga, and that's about it.
Hold up a second. You put respect on Beerus's name, all right?
Beerus
is a straight up goat.
Whatever. I don't watch Kai or whatever the fuck this bullshit's called. Okay, I watched the original when it came out, and that's fucking it. So, and Bulma as well. But I just been having fun because not only are they adding that as like an additional rewards to unlock, they actually always change something in the game itself and makes it weird and interesting. So like they actually added the Kamehameha as an item you can get that you can actually blast off and when capsules fall from the sky. So you grab the capsules and you can unlock basically this supercharge. You jump in the air and you fucking fire off this giant bolt of lightning at people, and it's fucking awesome. They also add the Nimbus Cloud as a collectible in the game too, that you can like just jump up in the sky and fly around. It's also unlockable as an item you could just buy, so you can come down on it. It's just fucking cool, man. It's just like Fortnite has still become the thing where when I grew up as a kid, I had a WWE wrestling ring that I would open up and I would pull out Ryu and fucking Hulk Hogan and I would just have them bash it out for like forever. Like that's what this game's become. It's literally like fucking Moon Knight can hang out with Drake from Uncharted and Eddie Brock from the Venom movie. And then everyone just like has a good time. Dune characters were obviously in there not that long ago. And just have a fucking good time. And I just like how they keep adding things to the game, and sometimes they become permanent. Like, for instance, Spider-Man, when Spider-Man was in it for a huge bit there, you could swing around. They decided that they would want to keep that mechanic in there, so they created a whole new item that is similar to the one that was that item that's no longer Spider-Man gloves. It's its own grapple gun glove. And so they found ways to like keep the game just interesting, especially with the no build mode where you don't have to build a fucking thing anymore to enjoy the game. And it's just a blast. So I know that everyone still talks shit on the game. I mean, it deserves it. Yeah, it deserves it. But
to me, it's cool, right? It's cool to have all those skins. But at the end of the day, it's still just a BR shooter. That's why I'm like...
it's sure, absolutely. But at the same time, I do love the way that it has other activities other than the BR element to it that you can still like... I will go in a match and I will try and complete as many activities as I can. And if I'm still close enough to potentially winning the match, that to me is just an extra bonus on top of that. But I also like the other things that they do. Like, for instance, you could watch literally entire seasons of Dragon Ball Z in Fortnite right now. That's actually one of the activities if you just want to watch it with your homies. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I have a blast playing it all the time. And then, you know, maybe I'll try building again. But right now, I've just been having fun with no build mode.
Fuck that building shit. But I was wondering why Dragon Ball Z was even added to Fortnite, because it sounded it was just random, right?
No, I mean they've been talking. Yeah, go ahead.
There's a movie coming out already. The Dragon Ball Superheroes movie.
Yeah, it came out this weekend.
Theaters now. So I'm like, oh, okay. There's the fucking cross promotion. That makes sense.
Funny you say that though. It doesn't make sense because that movie's about Piccolo and Gohan, and they are not part of the thing. So. They might get added later, but it's just kind of cool that fucking Superman and Goku can fucking hug. I thought that was cool.
Oh, yeah.
That image on the internet. I was like, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the only battle royale I've been playing this weekend. I actually got access to finally play My Hero Ultra Rumble, which is the My Hero Academia battle royale, which is, to me, is awesome. It's a fucking fantastic idea because if you've ever watched the My Hero anime, there are episodes where they do training and they have teams fighting against each other. And that's literally what this fucking thing is. It is 8 teams of 3 teaming up together to fight the other teams to be the last team standing while rescuing people in the actual student area where they do trainings in. And it's the same battle royale shit where there's like different things you can do to level up your skills. But you could play as all of pretty much majority of the characters that when they, that is available. Right now, there's only like, I think for the demo, there was at least like maybe 11 to 15 characters. But it's like all the main ones. It's Deku, it's Bakugo, it's even not Ultraman. What the fuck am I trying to say?
Ultraman.
All Might.
All Might. There you go. Yeah,
All Might. The bad guys are in there as well. Froppy, of course, is in there as well. You can level up, like I said. They have different abilities that interact with each other. There are fun things when it comes to like things you can unlock, which are character related, skins. There's battle damage skins. There's skins related to like if there were villain versions of your characters that you love.
That's kind of cool.
Yes. There's also my favorite was there's a fantasy episode where they do like sort of a Dungeons and Dragons themed thing. I think it's actually just an intro to the show, and they have those skins in the game too, so you can dress up as those characters. I've had a blast with it, honestly. It's got those like obvious like anime game jank as you would if you ever know what I'm saying. But I as a concept,
Unity feeling,
or like
you
press jump and it's like takes a second, like it has like that. But it's cool just to see how they combine characters. And like Shoto's one of my favorite characters. He's both a fire and ice wielder, and the way that they use his abilities is kind of cool. He does sort of like the Iceman sliding around the ground and does like the wall, but then he shoots fireballs from afar. Of course, All Might has like his thing is he could just jump really far and just Superman
Hulk
jump.
Mechanics, right?
Yeah, straight up Hulk mechanics. He commits like tornadoes and stuff. And then of course you have the Deku where he like his whole thing is because he has the power. He goes like this and he shoots like air balls at you, and it's fucking really cool. But yeah, I've been having fun. It's only like a 2-night demo, so I only got to play for like really one night. I'm excited for it when it comes out. It's going to be free to play. I can't wait till they add more characters because there are other characters that I would love to see in the game as well, except for the grape fucking guy. Fuck that guy. So I'm really excited to play this game. I assume there's going to be a battle pass. Right now it's just been cosmetics in terms of like unlocking stuff. So we'll see how it goes. But hey, I played an anime game and it was not terrible. So I had a good time with it, to be honest with you.
You played Persona, technically an anime game.
No, that's fair, but I just meant like anime-based games. Like I don't play those because I know that there's like a certain thing to them, unless it's Dragon Ball Z Fighters. That one's fucking kind of dope. And out of the playing a game, I did more of an experience with We Are OFK. This is that game, if you remember, it was the PlayStation showcase not that long ago, where it was sort of like. It's a visual novel / music video maker kind of thing, but I only played the first episode. I wonder if there's more to explore with the music video thing, because to me, it was just sort of like mini games that you play while the music video happens. So I'm curious like how that translates, but I only played the first episode. I gotta say, I don't think I was a huge fan of it. Primarily, I thought that the writing was very one-notey and very like, aren't we just tired of our jobs and don't we want to do these creative endeavors and, we just want to party and the only way I can describe it is like I have like Gen Z fatigue. And it does not help.
All right.
It does not help.
Gen Z fatigue. Explain this.
So I played that game. I played one episode of that game, and then I immediately watched the movie Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. And that's essentially just Gen Zers hanging out in a basically a mansion playing werewolf. and the way that they're like throw words like toxic and gaslighting, and it's like just all these like.
I think I actually understand what you're saying.
I'm 100%, and it just got grating at a certain point, to the point where it's like you're like running up against your dick in the dirt and scraping it. Like it was that bad. Like it was. I didn't have a good time.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. It makes us seem old, but yeah, I understand. I 100% understand what you're saying.
Okay, so I was like, I just wanted to like specifically chime in because I did play a demo a few months ago, and I had to stop playing it. I'm like, this seems like something that should be right up my alley. Let's talk about it. There's potion making. It was essentially a very comfy game. It was about a young woman who came from a magical family, who was told that she was acting up, so she had to go stay at this town to become like essentially the town, like essentially healer slash potion maker slash witch. And I don't think, like, I was just like, I'm really excited for this. The artwork's beautiful. I apologize. I will remember at the moment that I like, because I'm trying to find the name. There was a lot of games this year that came up with the name like witch and stuff in it, so I need to like remember the name. But there was like uwu moments, and then there was like
Ooh.
XD, and like
Oh fuck
and I was
no.
just like, I'm not
Oh.
okay with it. Like I don't know. It's just because you're supposed to be playing the character. So you're supposed to feel as though that like you're playing this character. This is
Mm-hmm.
you. Because you're just like, is someone like, if this was a set character who is doing this, I'd be like, okay. But if you have a character creation and you have to make your character, but then you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to feel like you're that person, I'm like, any of the responses that are listed here, I would never say this. Or like, they just didn't feel like there was enough range in the reactions. It was either being a very like snooty, like, I'm better than everybody and I don't need to be here, or like, oh my god, I'm so sad. And I'm just like,
Oh, so
You
sad.
nailed it on the head, to the point where it's like, I played a game similar to this. That game was called Boyfriend Dungeon, and I think it just did a much better job of elevating the story, along with being about younger people,
yeah.
telling younger stories and complex stories. And this is all based on episode 1. I know that there's 5 episodes. I have access to all of them, but I'm only played one of them. 2 episodes are out now, and then the other 2 episodes I think are released weekly. I don't see myself wanting to continue, because most of the game is just this. You're just sitting there letting these people and then you pick voice things when it's like they're texting. And I just don't find the characters that compelling. I mean, I've been in situations like theirs, for instance, of them hating their jobs, and so I definitely understand it. The other thing is, and again, I'm speculating, and by the way, this game was provided from Pop Agenda. They gave me a code, so that's why I want to say that I was provided this, so I'm being fair about it. I didn't buy it. The game, to me, and this is no shade towards the creators of the game, because clearly there was a lot of work done into this. It feels to me like the game is written, directed, and the music is created by one guy, and then there's like other people that do a lot of the other roles, and it just feels like it's this one guy just trying to do everything, and it needed like other people in the room. That's just to me how it feels.
Yeah, kind of like what Fez, I think, was another one of those games, the Phil Fish game.
Fez is like that, but Fez doesn't have like a story that's just like,
I mean like the one person working on the whole game type shit.
Yeah. Well, I meant maybe mostly on the story. Like I think that needed just a little bit more massaging, other than just like, this is my voice, and I'm like, well, maybe
This is me.
Maybe we need to work
be right back.
That's fine.
Solo dev type games.
Yeah.
When you're telling complex stories, you benefit so much from having multiple perspectives in the room.
Yeah.
Correct.
I just feel like this game very much was like Twitter to the game, where like, it just felt like all those things you see just all packaged in a 50-minute episode that I was playing or experiencing, is really the way that you should say it. And I just think that it wasn't compelling enough for me to want to even continue. Now, will other people have a totally different perspective on that?
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
this has been on my list for a while. I was really excited for this. I haven't picked it up because I am broke. But yeah, no. I'll probably still check it out,
Sure.
but it, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll see if there's a way that maybe we can share Steam account. You maybe check it out that way.
Yeah, you can do the family share thing like we do.
Yeah, we could probably see if that works out. If it works on Mac or whatever. But either way, I'm not saying no one should not play this game. I just think that it's just not for me specifically. And I did listen to the Kind of Funny Games cast kind of talk about it, and there's similar feelings there. So I feel like I'm not necessarily alone, which made me feel good. But at the same time, there are gonna be people that love this fucking thing, and I'm all here for that personally.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say, Mario, I really appreciate your opinion on it and you being very upfront about it, because I know you were very excited about this game. I know Sly's very excited to play this game as well. So being able for you to say like, hey, like I was really excited about this game, but you know what, this is not the game that I'm specific like. I thought this game, because sometimes it happens. There are going to be games where we are like super pumped for, and then it's just not great, or vice versa, where you're like, hey, I'm never going to play this game, and then you're like, wait a second, this is like game of the year for me. So being able to be like upfront and forefront about it and saying like, hey, this is just not the game for me, like I appreciate that, rather than you being like, oh, it's a really great game, and then we all played and we're like, Mario, and you're just like, yeah, it's definitely my game, and I'm just like, oh,
Yeah,
this
because
isn't okay.
yeah, because even like if again, like I said, I got the code through via Pop Agenda. I do want to at least be like honest about it. It's like, you know what, I gave it on a shot. I played through the first episode, which is a commitment. It's a 55-minute commitment. I do like that it does tell you how long each episodes are, so you can kind of.
Did you time yourself to see like if it actually is 55 minutes?
No, but I assume that it would be because you have to make choices, so I might have paused. And I know I stopped at one point to do something else, but ultimately, I just think that someone's gonna like this, and I'm all for them to enjoy it.
Yeah, because let's be real here. Games are made for everybody, right? But it's not necessarily going to resonate with everybody. So you found one you just didn't resonate with. It's all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. Also, I remember the one that I was trying to look up. It was Witchy Life Story, which is not my jam. It looks like my jam, just not my jam at all. I don't know. The art style was beautiful. The other characters were very intriguing. It's just the main character was just not my jam.
Yeah. On that note, Sly, what is going on with PAX?
I've been out of it, so I haven't been playing a lot, but I did have to submit my schedule request, which is always like the most stressful part of PAX is the schedule request form. And it feels like a very challenging video game every time I have to fill it out. But yes, in 2 weeks is West. Very excited. It's my first show back working since East 2020, which is something that happened that I experienced. But yeah, it's my first show back post everything. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm very excited for PAX and looking forward to it.
Well, welcome back to PAX. I'm sure it's gonna be pretty cool. I know me and Mario were looking to try to go to a PAX at some point. I don't think that's probably happening this year again. Just because it's just hard. It's hard to get the time. It's hard to get the money. It's hard to get the scheduling kind of down for everything, right? Especially since we got to go to Riot Fest for sure.
Would East be the closest show for you?
It would technically it would be the closest. We just have to schedule it out that way. I really wanted to go to West, but I inherited an apartment, so now I just absolutely can't go. No. So I have to figure that out.
Yeah, well, more than likely next year for sure. We'll probably go to PAX now that we can probably figure it out. If I have to pay for Mario's ticket, I probably will, but we're gonna go to a PAX next year. It's gonna happen.
We're gonna try and get passes through media. I'm gonna try our best, but we have to.
We're gonna try our goddamn damnness. If you're media out there, if you're one of the people watching us right now, please send me your email. I will
send us to PAX.
I'll talk to FEMA. We'll create like a little sponsorship here. FEMA, can you sponsor us at PAX? But yeah, on the topic of apocalypses, I've been playing some No Man's Sky. I like the game. I think it's really good. I've heard mixed thoughts about it. We obviously know about the its rocky launch. We do know that it's been redeeming itself. So like, you know, they've been putting out steady updates and everything like that. I like the game, but I like these type of games, and that's the only reason why I like this game. Where it's go get resources, you take those resources, you mold it into something else, you take that resource and you build something with it. I like those kind of games, those survival type games. And No Man's Sky does that. It has that where you can just go on any planet. Each planet has its own separate type of resource and everything like that. And you just explore. The only problem I have with it is it has a weird structure to how it introduces these themes to you, right? Like, oh, you can be Jean-Luc Picard and have your own frigate and have your own fleet, right? Question is, why is it getting introduced to me 10 minutes into the game? I'm not ready for that big of a commitment yet. It's weirdly structured in a way that like you will find
Rankin's commission issues.
I have terrible commitment issues, but like you'll find like stuff that is obviously a whole expansion, thinking that this is the natural progression of the game, and then finding out by the very end of it that, oh, I just completed a whole expansion. All right, I guess that's cool, and it'll just kind of end right there. I had this happen with the settlements. So I found a settlement like almost an hour into the game, and the game kind of locked me out and like being able to interact with people until like a little bit later. And then I randomly just started doing those missions in the middle of like something else, thinking, oh, like this is part of the story, right? And then it just ends. It's like, oh yeah, you did everything here. It's over. Bye. And you're like, okay, what do I do now? Like, oh, I completed an expansion. Got it. Okay, now to find the next expansion and do that storyline thing. It's a little bit weirdly structured. Like if you've ever played like Fallout or any of those other games, they give you the main story first, and until you progress into a certain part of the story, that's when they unlock the expansion stuff. This, they're like, yeah, dude, you want to frigate here? You have it like right off the bat if you have the resources for it, right? It's like, okay, cool, I guess. Which gives it the weird problem of I have no idea what my motivation is to continue moving on in this game, because there's no clear goal. It's keep doing stuff until something unlocks, and then you can go down this branch of stuff, and then it just ends. So I'm at kind of like that area where if you once you put like 60 hours into a game, you're like, do I commit more time to see where this is going, or have I committed enough time to kind of be like, yeah, I want to play something else? So No Man's Sky, I love it. I think what they've done with the game so far is really cool. I like some of the ideas. It does get a little repetitive after 60 or so hours. I want to see what they do in the future, but for right now, I might have to put it on the shelf for a little bit just because I want to play other things like Doom. I've been playing a lot of Doom recently. I mainly just because I've been hearing the soundtrack everywhere, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna get a playthrough through that. I'd never finished Ancient Gods, the DLC. There's like a 2-part DLC on there. I played it once, and it was like hard. It was super hard. It was almost impossibly hard, and I didn't understand why. And then I looked up a video on something called the Doom, or I think it's Doom 1 or Doom 2, the Plutonia Experiment, which was basically a very, 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 very hard version of Doom levels for like the people who are like kind of like super pros at it. And it was developed by people at id, a small team, I think of like 2 people or something like that. And it was just like, if you've ever seen like those old school Doom levels where they'll throw like 1,000 things on the map and then like you just have to like fight all of them and that's the goal, just to win. That's basically what Plutonia like started. And I never understood why Ancient Gods was so hard right off the bat, and now I know it's kind of just Doom Eternal's version of Plutonia. So I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna try to play it. I played it, got my ass absolutely destroyed. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to restart from the beginning and get good again, and that's exactly what I did. I'm halfway through the game right now. I'm getting back to like how you're supposed to play the game. It is a little confusing at first, but once you get it, like once you get how Doom is meant to be played, you're like, oh, okay, everything just kind of clicks, and everything gets a lot easier. Oh, either though it is insanely impossible. And I've posted some TikToks. Mario's seen the Doom one. It is a hectic game, but I love it. It's fun. I'm gonna go through that and just play through it, and then eventually, hopefully, get to Ancient Gods and finally see what the hell that was all about. And then my last game that I've played was a little bit of a boomer shooter. I've been playing this game called Blood. So in my research of Doom, like all the history of Doom, and id and all that stuff, I've been a name came across a bunch of times. You have Shadow Warrior, you got Duke Nukem, and then you got Blood. And I've never played Blood. And Blood has kind of been the inspiration for a lot of other kind of like these kind of FPS horror shooter games, because it's basically a horror shooter. You play as a guy named Caleb, who is a Western gunslinger, who is a disciple of a demon called Chernobog, if I remember correctly. I'm saying this at the top of my head. I barely remember the story, but him and his disciple, Chernobog decides his disciples are gonna like betray him or some shit, and one of his disciples is Caleb's wife. She gets fucking taken by a gargoyle. He gets put into a grave, and every other person in Chernobog's fleet is killed. The game starts with you waking up, of course, with a Evil Dead reference. the old classic, if you remember Evil Ash. When he comes out of the grave, he goes, "I live again." And then that's literally how Blood starts. And then it's just references from like Army of Darkness, The Crow, and a bunch of other horror movies and stuff like that. But it is a shooter. It is a fast-paced shooter, actually. So Caleb is a gunslinger, so he does stuff like, he moves quick. He has a flare gun that he shoots zombies with. So if you shoot a zombie with a flare gun, eventually they catch fire. Same thing for the cultists. And the double barrel shotgun. He's got TNT. He's got a napalm launcher. This game is supposed to be like kind of ridiculous, but also omega levels of hard. If you've ever played Doom, it's doable. Doom on like every difficulty is super doable. This game, I had to crank it down a little bit because I was not having a good time. I was like, this 1998 shooter is kicking my ass, and I'm actually getting mad. So I kicked it down a little bit, and actually the game's really fun. It's different in the way those other boomer shooters kind of did, where it was, hey, you're just kind of onslaughting these enemies. There's a little bit of strategy to how you encounter these enemies. You got to kind of think like, if I turn this corner, there's going to be people with guns and I will get shot. Can I live through that? Then you might have to crouch. You might have to throw a TNT across the corner. You might have to think a little bit outside the box. It's a really fun game in that respect, but it is insanely hard. Whoever developed this game is a masochist. It's absolutely insane. But I'm loving it so far. It is gory, it is bloody, it is horrific, and I'm only on episode 1. I think I'm about close to the end of it, and there's a little reference to this circus boy in the game. This is like the 1800s, by the way. This is really like, this is olden days, but there is a circus poster, and it says JoJo, the idiot circus boy, and I want that as a sticker for my water bottle, so it could just say JoJo, the idiot circus boy. But yeah, other than that, that's really all I've been playing. It's been more of like I told Mario over some sushi, I wanted to play games more in route of what I started with, just because like gaming recently has just been so stagnant and fucking boring. I think everything is just kind of samey. You know what I mean? Like everybody's just fighting for the buzzword of the year, and I'm like, I just kind of want to play something different. So I'm kind of trying to go back to my roots. Wait, is that a reference to another reference, Carlos? Oh God, from Tommy Boy? Does Tommy Boy have a JoJo the Idiot Circus Boy reference? If so, please send that to me. That's hilarious.
I think he does. Fuck, I'm gonna find it.
But anyway, I was gonna push it over to Mario for this next one. Mario's gonna go ahead and find that.
I found it.
You found it?
Tommy want wingy.
Oh
Got
my
it.
God.
I love it. It is a fucking Tommy Boy reference.
But does Tommy Boy predate Blood, or is this post Blood?
I mean, that's movies like from like '94, so I don't know. Like,
yeah, so it could be a Blood reference. So I mean, it could be a Tommy Boy reference. I mean,
wild.
Fee, I'm handing it off to you. You've been watching some B99. Is this show over?
is. I'm
Okay.
rewatching it.
Oh, okay.
For people who don't know, it's Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, no, I just decided that I was gonna just rewatch a few of the shows that I really enjoy. I rewatched the entirety of Parks and Recreation, which makes me realize that once you cut away from me, I'm gonna go grab something because that I bought recently, which is related to Parks and Recreation. But no, I've been rewatching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and it is a really funny show. Um, and I appreciate the fact, and I know that near the end it was getting a lot of understandable hate because of the time that the last season was being released, was in 2020. So there was a lot of dislike for police, which
I'll
is
just say it. A
100%.
cab.
Yeah,
Hey,
no,
cab.
absolutely. But I like rewatching it, I'm realizing how much they just dog on the police the entirety of the show. The amount of like hate that like it's not so much hate, it's just like the blatant like okay, there's like one specific captain who was just like he's an like, honestly, he's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing, but he was just essentially he was there and they're like, "Wow, you did such a great job. Wow. Oh, it's a white man. Oh, yay, he like stopped one person. Oh, yay, he's now a captain, even though he wasn't actually part of the police academy. Whoa." And then now that he like essentially did nothing, actually, for some premise, there was an episode where he loses an entire massive bag of cocaine in a backpack because he left evidence on the floor. He's just like, "Oh yeah, I left it in essentially the precinct. It was just a backpack that had a bunch of cocaine in it and I left it on the floor." And they all helped him find it and then he gets promoted again. And they're just like, "Yeah, because of course he did that." But there's just a lot of very difficult episodes, especially the episode if you're familiar. It's one where Terry is looking for one of his children's stuffed animals, and he gets stopped by another policeman. And they're just like, "You're in the wrong neighborhood. You shouldn't be here." And he's just like, "I live here." And they address a lot of really terrible things that happen. And honestly, I kind of miss that there's like that they're no longer on the air. Because they did point out a lot of not so great things that happen. Not even within the police precincts and like what was happening around them, but like outside as well. But a lot of it was internal issues. Like a lot of the time that they were struggling, it was internal, just power plays and just people who like are just terrible people, but they are in a place of power, so they get away with whatever the hell they want. So yeah, it's been a really fun ride. Watching it. I'm currently on season 7. I don't know what to watch next. But yeah,
Sandman.
I here's the thing. I'm debating if I want to read the comics first or if I want to listen because I have the audiobooks for Sandman because actually once
Didn't Kat
again
Jennings do the audiobook?
one of them she was a part of it
For
because
one of them?
they had like 10 actors play out different characters
Yeah.
for
Here, I'm
Sandman.
gonna look that up actually.
And so and I know every time I'm on this podcast I talk about Audible. But one of the like
And we're not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored.
I know we're not sponsored, but I'm
Audible
saying
pay
that
us.
like 1 month they did in fact give the first Sandman book as essentially a free book. Each month that you're subscribed you get like essentially like you get a free book and I got Sandman and I'm like interesting. Like at the time I
Oh.
wasn't so I was very confused because it was just like a guy with like absolutely bonkers hair, and I'm like, I'm not familiar with the Sandman, but it's been in my like I want to listen, which now I'm realizing I've been trying to like I've been flip flopping between a few audiobooks, and I'm just like I'm not really sure which one I want to like stick with until like from start to finish because there are some audiobooks and I'm like I only listen to this audiobook when I'm cleaning or if I'm doing stuff around my apartment or like if I'm commuting I go take an read another or listen to another one, but now I'll listen to that one.
Fee, this fucking cast is crazy.
Correct.
So yeah, Taron Egerton from the fucking Kingsman movies. Kat Dennings plays Death. Riz Ahmed is the Corinthian. Taron Egerton plays John Constantine, which is fucking dope as hell.
Awesome, dude. I already want to listen to this
fucking
now.
David Tennant's in this. Some of these actors though are actually in the show, so it's fucking even cool. But yeah.
No, so I'm gonna download that now. Because I do still have it. The Sandman, because I have it. It's like
I might have to download this too. I've read the
Carlos says add the one more listen to Neverwhere. Neverwhere. Carlos, what is Neverwhere?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of listening to Death on the Nile and A Promised Land by Barack Obama. But I can definitely Neverwhere. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you. Oh, it's another Neil Gaiman one.
Oh, it is.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
You know what? You know what I'm gonna do?
But
I'm buying it now.
Just buying it.
All right, buy now.
Yeah, because you recommended it. I'm gonna listen to it.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Feels like I'm jumping into the rabbit hole, the Neil Gaiman rabbit hole.
Yeah, why not?
Speaking of the Neil Gaiman rabbit hole, Mario, you've been watching Sandman. How's that been?
Yeah, it has come out. It is available on Netflix, the entire first season, which is, I believe, 10 episodes. I have an interesting history with Sandman. It is a comic book that I decided, you know what, I'm going to check this out. It's got dark, spooky themes, and so I wanted to really get into it. Oh no, everyone's just leaving. Everybody's just disappearing. You know what? That's fine. I'm gonna let's go. So Sandman is a book I read in college. Fuck them. It's a book I read in college. It is very interesting. Is one of the first comic books that I've read of Neil Gaiman. Who before the only thing I had experienced was probably Coraline, which is a pretty awesome animation. I've never read the book or anything, but it's still a solid project. Sandman, though, is one of those things where if you're into it, you're into it. If you're not, it might be a little hard to get into. But the show, I think, does a good job of translating what is on the page and really bringing it to life in a lot of instances. Specifically, I think it kind of follows the similar trend of like how people enjoy, I would say, Watchmen, the Zack Snyder movie, and how faithful it is in terms of every episode is just a book or a chapter in from the book itself, from the first three volumes. And I was shocked to see that's how they were going to tell the story, how they were literally going to go story by story. And Sandman is interesting because it's a continuous story, but at the same time, it has a lot of anthology to it. So you can kind of jump in certain aspects, but there is still an ongoing thing. And the story overall is very basic. It's literally just Sandman is trying to collect his things for a period of time. But while they do that, they introduce this sort of world of this endless, this sort of like almost like anthropomorphized version of like concepts. So like dream, death, desire, destroy, despair. They are in this world are all siblings that sort of like God, more than gods is the best way to describe them. And in this story, it's really just trying for them to, sort of deal with human shit. And I think they do a really fantastic job illustrating that and bringing that to life. There are things I never thought I'd see in live action. There are also things that they do change because it's a Netflix show. They tend to, I wouldn't say they cheapen things. I just say that they change things. I mean, they change things for both on Umbrella Academy. They change things for, obviously, people's expectations of Cowboy Bebop. They're probably going to change things for that One Piece TV show and, Avatar coming out in the future.
Oh God, I forgot about the One Piece TV show.
Yeah.
That's going to be a day.
That's going to be the day that I might even start watching One Piece content ever. Because I don't know.
No.
I know nothing.
For one, you will not watch One Piece content.
No.
It's like
no.
1,200 episodes.
Hold on. No, I'm talking about that show and that's it. I'm not saying I'm like getting into the anime. No fucking way.
Say, like, that is 1,200. Like,
I'm saying,
am I right, Fee? That's like 1,200 episodes going on One Piece, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I've
way too far gone.
I'm not gonna definitely check that out, but I will check out this fucking thing. But ultimately, Nerd Day brings up Stardust. Fucking fantastic. But yeah, the cast is pretty incredible. Have currently been obsessed with the actor that plays Death, who's fucking awesome. But I also love the person playing Desire, who they are now god damn it. Why is everything... Hold on. I have to clear off my wallpaper. That is my wallpaper now. They are incredible as Desire. They look exactly how they do in the comic, and every facial movement they make looks fucking perfect. So definitely watch the show for them, even though they're only in like not that many episodes. But yeah, I'm having a blast. I'm very happy for what they did. It's definitely a slow burn show, so it's definitely one of those ethereal, like sort of move kind of things. And so it might take you a while to get into it, but once you are sort of locked into what the world is, I think you'll be interested to potentially continue more. And today I just found out they released 2 bonus episodes which are based on short stories.
So part 2, isn't it?
It's a part 1, part 2, based on stories that are from the book, of course. And the cast for that is stacked. The majority of that cast is actually from the audiobook. James McAvoy's in it. David Tennant, even Neil Gaiman plays a character. It looks like Kevin Smith is in the audiobook, which is awesome. Which in the show, the character that Kevin Smith plays is played by Mark Hamill, which is the pumpkin dude, which is really fun.
Makes sense, though.
Yeah, definitely. And so, yeah, I mean, if you have read Sandman, or if we're like, you know what, I just want to hear the story in a different way, the show is a great option. The audiobook, I hear, is a great option. And then, yeah, if you have a chance, check out the book. I will say the book itself is... not that it's aged, I would just say that it's just in a very specific style that could be grating to the eye, depending on if you like the style. Because I know,
I mean, it's
wild.
Technically, more on the level of horror, because it's very, very dark pages. There's a lot of splotchiness to it.
Yeah,
very like I have the book here on one of my shelves, but it is a very I think it looks cool, like
it does look cool.
The way mine's printed.
Yes,
like the pages look very vivid in a way that, like, even if it's black, a lot of black and a lot of brown, a lot of splotchiness,
yes,
it's still very defining.
Yeah, that I agree with. There are definitely like some moments where in the show that they did like a side by side of him holding somebody, and like the book looks way better than the show. Like just because I was just like, you should have blacked them out a little bit more and not just made him a dude.
Darkened him up. He's just like super bright in that scene. I've seen the picture of this.
Yeah,
he's just super bright.
If I had a major criticism of the show, is that I do feel that a lot of times they make Dream look like just a dude, when I really wish they went full all out of like, I am this ethereal being, and like they do some great shots. Some of the shots are fucking awesome. But there's stuff where I'm like, you know, like black out his eyes, and I would think that would go a long way if they just did fun stuff like that.
Like had 2 forms to him. Like this is his like walk around form, but like when he's in God mode, he looks maybe like the comic book version of that character. Yeah,
which, by the way, Frank, you probably know this. Obviously, you watch a show called Lucifer. The same character is in this show that canonically is. And it's cool as fuck.
It makes sense for the people who are like, oh, they gender swapped Lucifer. Lucifer says in the show that he was a female at some point. So
yeah, like it does not fucking matter. And on top of that, like, okay, now that you brought that up, let's go and get into it. Yes, characters are not how they appear in the fucking book. Like, let's talk about Kirby Baptiste. Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter because they don't have race. They are not humans. They are anthropomorphized people. They can look whatever the fuck they want. So nobody's ruining your fucking childhood. At one point in the comic, Morpheus
transcend mortal genders and
arbitrary
race classifications.
Exactly, because at one point in the comic, Morpheus is in Africa because it's the beginning of time, and so he is describably fits the character of the people of that time. So he is a like canonically like African American character in that period. So yeah, it just, I don't know, they do a fun job of displaying that in the show.
The other thing was the Constantine thing. I know I had to explain to both my parents why they did that. Yeah, because my mom was like, I thought Constantine was Keanu Reeves, and my dad was like, I thought Constantine was a Cockney blonde-haired dude, no, I'm like, no. Okay, for one, they don't have the rights to that character.
No.
At the time they did, because he was a Vertigo character at the time.
Yeah.
So he could be part of that. He was. In Preludes and Nocturnes, he's like one of the first characters that shows up.
That story, which I can't believe they fucking did, is in the show, and it's cool as fuck.
Constantine's purely a ancestor, which makes sense.
Yes.
Because they don't have the rights to John Constantine. They can't do John Constantine unless DC's like, okay, guys, you can do John Constantine for $1 bajillion because we're not doing shit with him anyway.
Well, they actually. So that's the other thing is obviously we have the Matt Ryan one, which is on the CW. That show's basically fucking dead. But now there's another John Constantine show that's supposedly coming. We'll talk about that when we talk about our news stories because I have something to say about HBO Discovery. But yeah, so Joanna Constantine is this version of the character, but it makes sense because in the comic there is a Joanna Constantine that plays later in time. So they just basically push that version up to replace it, and it's still the same story. It's still like, you know,
it makes sense. You know what I mean? Would I like to have John Constantine on the thing? Sure, but like, it suffices, right? Like,
and
we all know they can't get the rights, so we have to get what we got to get.
And honestly, their version of Joanna Constantine is really kind of fucking cool. So I wouldn't mind there just being more versions of that character.
Yeah, from what I heard, she just plays John Constantine.
It's just John Constantine. That's all it is.
No. So I'm like, as long as you play the character right, we're all good.
And it's the same story from fucking that CW show, too. It's the same thing, same backstory.
What's up, Fee?
No, I was just going to say, for the people who are getting upset, like, one, like, it's just like what Maria said. It's a bunch of, like, doesn't, like, timeline-wise or the way they look has nothing to do with it.
No.
Like, it just makes zero sense. Like, people getting upset about it just makes no sense overall. They're literally ethereal beings. They can look whatever the hell they want. Like, very stupid. I almost went on a different rant, but I'm not going to, so I'm just gonna. Well, it almost goes into it's a biblical rant.
Hey, I'll continue this story because I also watched the movie Prey. People had an issue with fucking a woman taking out the predator in a movie about the predator.
But it's cool when it happens in Aliens. Like, I'm confused.
I know, right? Fucking Ripley from Aliens is like, oh yeah, I takes out hundreds of fucking aliens.
But it's cool when it happens in Terminator. Like, all the fucking movies, these probably fucking boomers are like super pissed off about like doing that. It's like they happen in other movies you love. Like, why you hate it in this one?
I don't know, but yes, I watched the movie Prey.
Tragedy and old now.
Yeah,
that's why.
Not in my America. No woman killed predator.
That's right.
But Alien totally fine. Alan Ripley gets a pass.
In my America. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fucking the Andrew Tate in America. I did that just for Fee to react. So I've seen Prey. Prey's fucking awesome. It's done by Dan Trachtenberg. It is a fucking awesome movie. Just off bat, you can watch this and never see any of the other fucking Predator movies. If you did, it's just a little nods, every little nods here and there. The characterization of the Comanche tribe is fucking really cool. The fact that majority of the characters themselves provide the voice dub for the Comanche dub as well, which I'm probably going to watch a second time with that specifically. But yeah, it's just a fucking cool movie. And it basically does everything that a lot of the first one did, but does the Assassin's Creed thing of like, well, what if we take the fucking badass Predator and put him in a time in which it would make sense for him to be like overpowered and see how people could overcome that. In the same way how in the first movie is nothing but muscle bound fucking jack dudes with guns and swords and all that shit. Just get totally That's fucking awesome, annihilated them. Like, it's fucking cool. Like the fact that you can do both. I heavily recommend Prey. I know me and Fee did a sort of reaction to the trailer. Fee, when did you get a chance? We should watch this together. I think it'd be fun.
I agree. I definitely am down.
Yes. And then, of course, I watch Bodies, Bodies, but you already heard what I said about that. The movie's not good. So
no, I'm definitely interested in this. Like, everybody is really clamoring for Prey's like sequel to be like put in Japanese times with samurais and everything like that.
That'd be fucking cool.
And I am 300% down. That movie I am excited for.
Yes.
Like I'm not really all too into Predator. I'm not really even that much into Alien either. But like something about putting a futuristic Predator in like samurai Japan sounds fucking awesome.
Yes, I think would be so dope.
Mm.
But yeah.
On that note, on speaking of dope things, Sly, what is Sue Bird's last home game?
Well, because Harv's not here, I guess I have to hold down the fort on basketball fans for this podcast. But
What's a
yeah, I was gonna talk
basketball?
about this week, but I was sick. So 2 weeks ago, was the last Seattle Storm home game of the season. Of course, this whole year has been Sue Bird's farewell tour. So it was her last home game in the Climate Pledge Arena. I got to go. We sat, so we were in the like Climate Pledge Arena. There's like 2 rows of courtside, and then the like first row of like the stadium seating. So we were in the first row of stadium seating. We were like 2 rows behind Megan Rapinoe, so that was really cool. They lost, which, it was a good game, but still kind of sad that they lost. I got my final year sweatshirt on, but yeah, it was really cool. I'm a huge basketball fan, huge Sue Bird fan. Very sad to see her retiring, but
All our heroes got to retire eventually, man. Even Batman got to pass the mantle.
It was really sad to see her go, but Dinah Taurasi is still playing, and when she retires, when both of them are out of the field, I think that'll be a little harder. But we still got Dinah Taurasi. A bunch of young kids are really cool, doing great things. But yeah.
And then Carlos says on that, "Oh shit, that's cool that you got to go though. That is kind of cool that you did get to see that last one though. That you get to see a little bit of history there."
And it's the first WNBA game I've gotten to go to in person. So my first game was her last game, and they're still playing. It's postseason, but yeah,
really it's definitely a cool little conversation starter. Like my first WNBA game was Sue Bird's last game.
Last home game.
Last home game.
Regular season home game. But yes.
That is awesome. Speaking of first things, I've been hanging out with some friends and they have introduced me to the show called Killing Eve. I've only watched 3 episodes, so I don't really know too much what's going on, but basically it is a show about a assassin lady going around killing people, and she's like the best assassin. She's the Omega level assassin, but she's also getting there's a I guess MI6, MI7 something. Wait, what's going on here?
You can't say
what
Omega without me losing it.
Omega?
You can't just casually call somebody Omega and blow past that.
Omega, like from Star Wars?
The end, the end
like
level,
the Omegaverse.
Omegaverse?
What is the Omegaverse?
What is this?
Oh my god.
I'm
not mentally prepared to explain.
I'm looking it up.
This is weird because I'm using it in its actual meaning, which is the end.
Oh,
the end all be all.
Oh
the
god,
alpha, the beginning and the end.
Oh god. All right, here we go. Omegaverse, also known as ABO, an abbreviation for Alpha Beta Omega, is a subgenre of the speculative erotic fiction, and originally a subgenre of erotic /fiction. Great. Seriously?
Yeah.
Sly, grow up.
Nobody here knows about that,
Sly.
but you just revealed yourself to the world that you were a Omegaverse reader.
I am very public of my. I don't read ABO. Like that's like one of my like hard blocks. But no, I am very public about my enjoyment of fanfiction. I'm talking about fanfiction in a hot second. Like I'm in the universe. You can't be trying to shame me for my knowing what the Omegaverse is.
I'm using Omega in its actual form as well. Like the end. She's the end level assassin.
Omega means something very different to me.
Oh. Well, I guess she's the coolest. I don't know what to call her then. She's the best. She's the bestest assassin. Everybody loves her. They hire her to kill people for her, for them. But at the same time, you have an MI7 agent, not MI6. It's either MI8 or MI7. I don't remember because they don't use MI6.
What the fuck?
Agent who like pieces together that something's going on here because people are getting killed in very specific ways and it's all the same person. So then she starts to like piece together. She gets fired from her job because she looks into it, and then some lady says, hey, we're going to create a special team just for you to figure out what's going on in this world. That's as far as I'm my brain is going on the show, because there is other stuff on there. There's some killings and stuff like that happen a little bit later, but I'm, like I said, I'm only 3 episodes deep. I think the show's pretty cool. I like the way it's shot. It's that BBC way of shooting things. So if you've ever seen Sherlock Holmes or any of those other kind of BBC shows, it's shot in a very, very similar way. The action scenes are really good. The people get jacked up in the show when they get assassinated. Like, it isn't like the CW. Oh, I got a prick in my and I just fall down. No, people are just getting stabbed. People are getting shot up. There's some high level violence in this, which I wasn't expecting, especially from the BBC. But other than that, I haven't been watching much of anything else. I was watching Banshee. I finished watching that already. That show ends very weirdly. It's one of those shows you can tell that obviously didn't get renewed for a new season, so they kind of ditch the main story of the 4th season halfway through and say, fuck it, we have to have a goodbye for everybody. It's a very weird ending. It's not the greatest. It wasn't kind of worth it.
I just really appreciate seeing this progression of Fee discovering who Neil Gaiman is.
Yeah, Frank, while you were talking, there was the Omegaverse conversation that just happened, you discovering Killing Eve, and then in the chat room, it's Fee is losing her mind that Neil Gaiman has written a lot of shit that she may have consumed.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman is a fucking goat in the writing field. Like, he's amazing. He's a really good writer.
Yes. Also married to Amanda Palmer.
I want him to write a horror game, and he probably already has, but if he hasn't, I want him to write a horror game in the Evil Within universe.
Well,
that would be really cool.
He wrote a book called Lovecraft's Monsters, which apparently is about just Lovecraftian monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Wayward Manor on Steam is Neil Gaiman's first foray into video games. There is a game that he has made.
Oh, okay.
It's called Wayward Manor. It looks like what if Psychonauts mixed with like a Tim Burton kind of thing. So I don't know. Look at that later. It doesn't look like a Frank game though. I'm not gonna lie. This does not.
I'm looking at the reviews right now, and they're not great.
Wrote American Gods.
There you go. A lot of sex in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Take that with a grain of salt. Oh, it's isometric. Okay, this is not my alley. I'm sorry.
Also, I just want to say I stand by my biblical rant that I was going to go on earlier, because this man writes about fucking gods on multiple occasions.
Dude, he gets off. He gets off on gods. 100%.
So, you know what?
He is our modern day Lovecraft, I feel. Like, he
is
just
minus the
really
racism.
Cool, minus the racism. Yeah, no, he's an amazing writer.
Wait, back it up. The racism?
Lovecraft. You know about Lovecraft?
Oh, I thought you were saying that he was a racist.
No, I said minus.
From what we know, Neil Gaiman is not a racist.
I'm just like, am I supposed to like should I be like refunding the books that I'm currently getting an Audible?
I'll tell you,
also, you gave money to a racist, Fee. How does that feel?
There you go. Fee, I'll tell you about the one controversy off screen that I know of, and that's about it.
Okay. That's fine. He even wrote a book called Trigger Warning. Who knows about that? But he has a lot of books on here, and I'm definitely gonna listen to a bunch of them now, because there's a lot, and I currently now have Neverwhere. So
yeah. Did you get it audibly, or is that like a book?
Oh yeah, no, Audible for sure. No, I do not have time to sit down and read.
Let them pay us before we name drop them.
Fuck that reading shit. Okay. Nobody actually physically reads anymore. Speaking of reading, Sly, what you've been reading?
So earlier this week, I watched a little movie that's very good. You might have heard of it. super indie. It's called X-Men First Class. It's the first time I've ever seen it. Real good movie. We did a whole MC University episode about that, and immediately, like, we hung up, and the first thing I did was Google fanfiction. So I've been reading some X-Men First Class fanfic. I've been reading a lot of other fanfic, but that's been predominantly. And let me tell ya, there is not enough. I was grossly disappointed by the lack of first class only fanfic. Like, there's a lot of stuff for, movies in the future that I have not yet seen, right? And I don't want any spoilers. I just want to consume Cold War era gay Jewish superheroes. That's all I want in my fan fiction. And there's a couple, and they're pretty good, but not quite enough. So if you guys have any fanfic recs to our lovely audience, please send them to me. I need all of them.
What was the one you said you saw about Magneto? Can you explain that one? Didn't you say you saw one that was about Magneto? I don't know. If you remember. Yeah, that's something, I don't know, something to do with the coin.
The one I was reading earlier?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't remember. Let me check my bookmarks.
There, you do that.
We'll see.
While you're checking your bookmarks, in the quest of not becoming literate and not being illiterate, I've been reading books. I am 3 books into the Percy Jackson series. Which one was this one? Titan's Curse. I've been reading the Titan's Curse. I'm 90% in. I'm basically done.
That's a good one.
I love this one. My favorite one's the Labyrinth. I think that's the next one, right? Yeah, because like the last one is like the Fight for Olympus or some shit like that. Yeah, no, I'm loving these books again. I fell in love with the Percy Jackson series all over again. I can't wait till the TV show comes out. I hope they do it justice, because Sly is with me on this, where the movies are fucking god awful. But yeah, once I get through this series, I'm gonna finally get in. I didn't realize how big this universe was. This Rick Riordan universe. There's also the Norse god stuff, and then there's like a detective noir type thing in the same universe as well, and they're all in the same universe.
There's the original series, the first 5. And then there's the sequel series, the Heroes of Olympus series.
Yeah.
And then there's the Kane Chronicles, which are the Egyptian ones.
There's a fucking Egyptian one now?
Trials of Apollo.
Oh my god.
Well, I remember when Red Pyramid's the first Kane Chronicles. I remember when that came out. I was like middle school or something. But yeah, there's that whole series. And then there's the Rick Riordan Presents line, which is all authors that are not Rick Riordan, but he like brings them under his umbrella or whatever. So there's a bunch of different mythologies, and they're not necessarily connected, but it's a bunch of authors from like different backgrounds writing about their like legends and folklore. That's really cool.
Yeah, because like I was looking up some stuff about this book, because I had remembered something, and I saw, like, for example, Percy Jackson is in these other series as well. So he's like, the stories are interconnected. I was like, dude, this is a whole ass universe. Like, what the fuck? Like, when did this become a universe? Yeah. When I was reading these books, it was the 5 books, and that was it. That's all you got. So I'm like, shit. So okay, there's a whole ass universe since I started reading these.
Yeah, I read the first 5 books when the 5th book came out. And so I saw the sequel series come out, but I didn't keep up with it. And then last year I went back and read both series, and I'm currently on the Kane Chronicles. I'm going to read through all those and then do all the crossover and all the trials and the Magnus Chase and all that.
Yeah, Magnus Chase is the other one I saw. Yeah. That was part of that. Crafty says says I freaking love Rick Riordan. I need to finish the Kane Chronicles and the other series. Definitely should. I need to speed this up, apparently, because like I'm 3 books in. But to be honest with you, this is gonna sound weird. I only read at work. There's a significant amount of downtime. I'm either on my phone or I'm being told to do actual work. And in the times where I could actually just use my phone, I just sit there and read. So that's the only time I don't like reading at home. There's too much stuff around me that just kind of makes you want to do other things. Like there's a PlayStation, there's a computer, you know what I mean? But
Bottle
at
of
work,
lotion.
this is my only option, and I like this better than sitting on my phone. And Mario is dirty as fuck. Old dirty ODM.
That was a
Old dirty
callback to
Mario.
like one of our first episodes when the back of your screen had a bottle of lotion. That was just a callback. That's all
yeah.
it was.
That was for my ashy elbows, though. Speaking of ashy elbows, Fee, tell me about Swedish rock metal music, death metal, LOL.
I don't know what you're trying to imply there, my dude.
I mean, like, you never see... No, I'm more like... You never see those fucking, like, metal bands with all that powder and shit on them? And it looks like they got really ashy elbows.
There you go.
They put that, like, makeup, and it has, like, that powdery makeup.
Like,
I'm thinking of, like, Guar and shit, you know what I mean?
Sure. Suddenly my face appeared in that corner and I was not prepared for that. Those fucking eyes. I'll fix that.
Surprise Mario.
No, I'm very confused as to what just happened. But yeah, no, I've just been, I don't know why. Well, actually, no, I do know why. So recently there's been an insurgence of, for some reason, there was a specific song by a Swedish heavy metal band named Ghost. If you are familiar with Ghost,
yes.
yes, it is a very popular TikTok song currently, which is Mary on the Cross. On a cross, my apologies. And I hadn't listened to Ghost since 2013, 2014. And so it's been a very long time since I had listened to them. And if you are familiar with Ghost, there is some fucking weird shit that happens with that band. And in complete storylines. And if you need to, there is oh, how do I explain this? So there's different eras, there's different papas, because the entire band is based on essentially satanic essentially temple. So there is, depending on the era, you get a different papa, or unless you get to the era where they killed off the papas, which then there's the Cardinal Corpia, and there's a whole thing. I'm not going to try to explain this. That would be a whole podcast in itself. And you can check out shit online for it. But no, I was just like, you know what, I have been enjoying their music, so I've been kind of like going down the rabbit hole, and I just kind of let, like, when you click on a song on Spotify and you can go to like that song's radio. So I've just been kind of like on loop listening to like Ghost, Soilwork, oh god, what is it called, the Night Flight Orchestra, which is a mixture of a multiple like death slash 80s inspired heavy metal bands from they're all
Hair metal,
Swedish.
basically, yeah, right.
Yeah, so they're all from Sweden. So it is a lot of that mixed together, and it's just very interesting. And a lot of them have collaborations with each other, and the music's really good. Also, we stand bands that are in support of the LGBTQ community, and abortion, because that's also another reason, which I'm shocked that I saw a clip, because I, once again, like I said, I haven't listened to them in years, that I saw Ghost on Jimmy Kimmel. They were on one time, and I'm like, I'm shocked in CBS's America that they had a band that openly supports abortion and LGBTQ. I mean, CBS is more progressive, but
yeah, I was like, they're not Fox News, so
no,
Yeah.
they're not Fox. But it was just very weird seeing like, oh, that's fun. That's a very weird thing to do. But yeah, I would highly recommend the music. Even though a lot of it is very, very highly contested if Ghost is actually considered heavy metal. But that's a whole other argument. But a lot of the bands that I specifically talked about have a lot of like 80s kind of like metal slash rock vibes, which I'm 1000% for. So I've just been listening to all their music on repeat, kind of just constantly over the past week. And I'm not upset about it. So just thought I would bring it up because it was random, and it was just like, you know what? No one's filled out the specific section, so why not be me?
Yeah, I've just been listening to the same shit, honestly. I have my own Spotify on repeat. But anyway, that is the end of the the checkpoint, we're gonna move on to the patch notes. Who wants to start? Who wants to be the first here? Who wants to talk about some news?
Talking about our favorite stories of the week.
That ties back to what we were talking about earlier.
Actually, yeah, I actually didn't notice that as I was scrolling down. I just noticed it right now. I was like, oh, hey, look at that. I'm actually gonna start off with this one here because I know Fee was kind of excited about this one. This one comes from Kotaku's Claire Jackson. Fallout TV show set leaks look really authentic, actually. So I posted this earlier. Unfortunately, Mario, you might have to do a little digging to find photos for this because the original link they took all those photos down. So have fun finding that. But I'm actually excited for this. Fee, you saw the pictures of it too. It looks really fucking on point. It looks just like how a vault looks right off the bat. Yeah, there you go. Like that is. I don't have any complaints. I'm usually nitpicky here. I'm like, oh, that looks kind of wrong or something like that. This is pretty much on point. I can't think of anything there that I can honestly say that I would change. Fee, what do you think on this?
I'm very, very impressed. As someone who is a massive Fallout fan, I was concerned. Not gonna lie, because I knew that the show didn't have Todd Howard to utilize and hide behind when they made major errors. If you don't understand that reference, where have you been in gaming for the past decade? But no, it looks really, really great. I'm really impressed. I'm very interested to see how it goes. Mind you, there are like, even though like live action anime shows have not been doing well, live action video game shows have been doing. Other than we're not talking about Resident Evil. If you try to bring up Resident Evil, I will not discuss this and I will leave. But other ones have been doing pretty good. And I think that we've been seeing clips and images from the Last of Us sets, and this is just right up there as well. So I'm very excited to see because I feel like there's a lot of like post-apocalyptic kind of shows that have happened in the past decades, starting off with things like The Walking Dead, and we've seen a number of others that haven't been as successful. But I feel like I this might sound very silly, but having a show that's based on one of what is considered one of the best eras in American history, but just like the old classics, the 50s vibe, the music, and like having the old like strong like American cars and like having that kind of vibe. I feel like it's gonna go over very well. Because I know one of the biggest things, at least for me, when I first started, was like the music. So I'm hoping that they continue with that. I imagine it's going to be really, really good overall. But I was concerned about the sets. I'm not gonna lie. I was concerned that they'd be slightly a little bit gimmicky or like silly looking, or maybe that they wouldn't put as much effort. Mind you, not gonna lie, because I know this is an Amazon production, that Amazon has been hitting it out of the fucking park recently, especially with The Boys, Paper Girls. So I wasn't nearly as concerned. And then also what we've seen of Lord of the Rings, the new Lord of the Rings series. It's Yeah, a lot of that looks fantastic. So I wasn't too concerned. But it's you and I both know like this is a series that's very close to our hearts, and we're very concerned about it because there is an area where you can get a little bit gimmicky. But no, it looks fucking spot on. I'm very excited to see what the suits look like, and what we actually like character wise, because I only saw the sets.
Oh, I have a picture of the suit.
Mario pulled up a guy in the suit
Okay.
without the thing. It's very so from the just the aesthetic of just like the sets and everything like that. They're definitely taking inspiration from Fallout 4's designs for the vault, and especially even the suits have that same kind of piping that the Fallout 4 suit has. So I actually didn't even check the number that they had, because Vault 32. I don't think Vault 32 is a vault that we've seen yet in the games.
So actually, it's funny you say that. The the Twitter that I'm pulling from, this is like a super fan. They actually are specifically have speculation on it. So it says Vault 32 is a new to the canon. I'm assuming it's mostly likely on the West Coast due to its number. Vault 34 is in the Mojave Wasteland, and Vault 29 mentioned in Fallout 76 is located on the West Coast. So meaning that 32 would be somewhere in that area, which kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I would say like, so yeah, definitely maybe Arizona, New Mexico, or something, just judging by all the sand.
Well, yeah, because I'm just looking it up because I was familiar with like the 30s, and I know 34 is in the Mojave Wasteland. That's the one right beside Niels Air Force Base, and it had like the weird truck in front of it. Like you had to go through, like you had to go through that kind of like sand area where we just like constantly have those like sandstorms, and you get to that particular location and have that like rundown truck. I'm only going off of what the actual photos look like, but I'm very interested to see what they do with this one. And that's kind of what's cool about Fallout is the craziness that happens in each vault, like us finding out like what was the reasoning for Vault 32, because each vault had its own play, like essentially part to play, because all of them, I'm sorry if I'm ruining the series for you, each vault was an experiment in some capacity.
How dare you
I'm
spoil
so sorry.
Yeah, so sorry. Also, the people who created the vaults might have started the war in the first place. But anyway.
Yeah, as a specific test, and it went wrong. But who knows? Who knows, everybody? I'm very excited. Do we have any sort of release date? I apologize. I've been like so out of it that I haven't really been checking the news at all.
Probably still like a year away at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially if we're getting glimpses.
I don't even know if we know what the story's about.
The only thing we know is that it stars Walter Goggins.
Woo! All right,
that's it.
Shout out to Walter Goggins. I'm excited. I want to see some Fallout related stuff. I hope they get a writing team that knows how to toe the line for Fallout writing. This Fallout is very written in a very specific way, very kind of, like Fee said, it's a little gimmicky and a little bit, a little goofy, but it has that dark humor to kind of mute that. So like you'll get like a dumb, funny moment, but then someone will just get their brains blown out or something like that. You know what I mean? It has that dark humor to go with it. And if it doesn't have that in the show, and if it's too much gimmicky, not enough seriousness or that humor, then it's not really gonna resonate with your fans all too well. But I hope I just judging by the fact that they're taking the time to make those vaults look as good as they are, I have a feeling that the team on that team right now, at least from what I can see, looks like they know what they're doing. And that's already they're already in a very good step compared to a lot of other live action TV shows.
I hope the show fucking sucks and is worse than Halo.
Oh, you're just mad.
It's worse than Halo.
Okay, I just want to say that
I'm joking.
I'm just saying. I was gonna say, because I'm like, I did not bash Halo when I said we're not talking about the Resident Evil series. I could have easily brought up Halo and said,
you're right. This looks very similar. They're very accurate to the weapons and the gun. So I'm very excited for how this comes out.
Amazon's been knocking it out of the park, so I have faith.
I have faith too.
If they could do, they're doing well with the boys. I think they can do. I think they can do Fallout. On that note, on the topic of cursing things, Mario, tell me about HBO Discovery.
Man, fuck HBO Discovery, because like,
you know what? Fuck HBO Discovery.
So since we've been gone, we didn't get a chance to talk about any of this, and I know that me and Frank had several different conversations. I wonder how that conversation has evolved for you specifically, because I know that you had this is sort of like, this is going to come out scenario. You probably still feel that way.
Oh, yeah, I do.
But man, they're just doing some fucked up shit right now. So if you don't know, Warner Brothers has been passed along, is no longer being owned by AT&T. They are now bought by Discovery. And immediately,
Discovery was even that big, to be honest.
I didn't know the fucking Discovery was that big too. But against 90 Day Fiance is just blowing the fuck up. But ultimately, they've come in and immediately just start scrapping shit. They're scrapping things that are already existing, things that are available no longer because they were on the platform and now completely gone, supposedly going to be forever. Today, they just cut 200 episodes of Sesame Street off of the fucking platform. So okay, I don't know where that's going to be accessible down the road. There's a lot of animation that they've canceled recently. Some of them are supposedly very popular. I have not seen them because I don't tend to watch a lot of just sort of anime shows anymore. But from what I understand, Infinity Train and I believe the Change Up was one of them that people were really sort of upset by. I am, of course, upset with all the DC stuff that happened. I was very excited for Batgirl because I thought that they were, at least having some sort of an idea with what they were going to do. But honestly, I think a combination of both this and Ezra Miller being a fuckhead is honestly totally destroying projects left and right. Earlier in the year, they had a Wonder Twins project that they canceled. They had obviously just canceled Batgirl, while 90% of it is pretty much done. And of course, that they've potentially talked about Blue Beetle might being another one of those projects. That
fuck no, Blue Beetle. But I don't know how far along that is anyway.
They've been shooting. There's footage of you can see them.
They had the suit.
Yeah, so they've been doing it for a while. And really, the only major focus has been on fucking The Rock for
I fucking hate that
for
so
Black
much.
Adam. And I'm just like, I don't care.
Let's double down on The Rock of all fucking people.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So
Love it. Love how The Rock is the mascot for DC right now. Great. Love
basically, he's also the next character you can play in multiverses. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I'm specifically confused why they stopped and canceled Batgirl, but Ezra Miller can do whatever the fuck he wants apparently, and then they're just like, we're cutting ties with him after we release the movie, and it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, why are you releasing this? I'm like, I would have rather you taken that money and then finished Batgirl and then just not release the Flash. Because now he's getting money.
The problem with that though is that this movie is tied to the Flash because the character that Michael Keaton plays, who is the character from the original Batman movie, is introduced in the Flash, which then this story spins off afterwards. So that's why it's just like, if you're gonna have one, at least fucking finish the other and then maybe change whatever. But at the same time, they're probably yeah. Go ahead.
They've just made really shitty moves in the past 2-3 years. So I'm not really I'm just. Any interest that I had in the DC universe, specifically the movies and that specific franchise, I'm just I'm done.
That'll be the one thing I'll say that I've actually come around on, at least post Justice League, because we had Birds of Prey, we had the Shazam movie, and then we had Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad,
and those movies are fucking awesome. They're actually really fun. And they
what we do. Just remove the Justice League.
Basically.
You know what?
Yeah, kill the Justice League. Fuck them.
Yeah, just kill the Justice League. Just pull a straight up Deadpool kills Marvel.
Fuck them.
They the Suicide Squad.
Fuck them kids.
Henry Cavill. Fuck him.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? He's better in The Witcher anyway. Just kill him off, and then we take out
that fucking wig.
Ezra Miller, and then we take out everybody else. As much as I love Jason Momoa, no, absolutely not. Just kill all of them, and then just have a dark reigning essentially universe where it's just a Suicide Squad, and then just all of the dark characters essentially
But then we lose Peacemaker.
Peacemaker is still considered he's still considered a villain, so he still can.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the sacrifice we have to make. That's the thing.
Because
If we reboot, we have to reboot Peacemaker too.
They also even showed the fact of how useless the Justice League was because he dealt with everything, and then the Justice League randomly appears and says "fuck you guys," and that's how he stays in the universe, and then he watches them burn as they take out the entirety of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Also, we got that dumbass Teen Titans show as well. Keep that in mind. I wonder what the fate of that is.
What? Oh, you're talking about the live action one. I was like, Teen Titans Go? It's whatever. Real quick, though. For years, we thought that Flashpoint or the Flash movie was going to reset everything, and then they can start fresh and continue on from that point. And they're just like, nah, we're going to make it even weirder by bringing Michael Keaton as Batman. And I'm like, who the fuck? What the fuck are you doing?
What are you guys doing? Stop. Get
Which,
some help.
as much as I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool, but still weird.
It's pandering. That's
Yeah,
all
they're
I look at
They're
it.
trying to get the nostalgia.
It's
They're trying to be
it's
like,
the No Way Home. You know, it's just like, hey, we got to bring the Batmans in here.
You guys remember this Michael Keaton guy from that one Batman movie you love? Come on into the theaters, boys. Like, fuck
no.
you.
I just think it's despicable that they're still releasing The Flash. I think it's just really shitty
Yeah.
of them, and especially to the people that he has consistently, or like at this point, ruined multiple people's lives. But hey, let's release this movie so he gets multi-millions, and then he can retire, or like go fuck himself in peace.
Here's what
and then leave like entertainment.
Here's what I'll say though. I would rather them just fucking release the movies, because Ezra Miller is one person out of the hundreds of people that have worked on both those projects that deserve time. Like Sarah Calley, who was supposed to be Supergirl, is supposed to be introduced in this movie. We had obviously Leslie Grace as Batgirl. We had other characters that were also supposed to surround these characters in the world that I was excited for. And now it's just like, well, Discovery Disney is like, well, if we can do cost cutting and then fucking just do this, and then we submit tax exemptions, then yeah, sure, we end up making a buck. So it's just like, this is just fucking dumb.
And that's where my biggest problem with this whole situation comes from. It's the idea of a multi-billion-dollar company that comes in, takes over an already existing operating independent group, right? And decides to make rash decisions based off of uninformed like media analysis and like business.
The fucking algorithm says this.
Was so fucking skewed that they're making all these high-level decisions off of bullshit, right? Like, that's just like, there's so many idiotic decisions being made here because they're basing it off of so like wildly skewed data, and they're coming in here and like wrecking people's, like, obviously I don't want Ezra Miller to get any money, and he's going to get a lot of money when this movie comes out, but also there's a lot of people who's gonna get very little money for putting their blood, sweat, and tears into it, and they're now getting zero money.
Like Brendan Fraser, who celebrated his birthday while being a part of this movie, and he's just fucking won't even come out. Not even coming out.
You know what they should do? Just give all the money that they were going to give Ezra Miller to the people that he fucking ruined their lives.
Please.
Or the people that he kept at the farm.
Because that was fucking
several
weird.
farms?
Because there's no way they don't have a...
that he was grooming.
Yeah.
There's no way they don't have a clause in like these contracts. Like if you go fucking ape shit weird, like celebrity mode in the middle of this movie's campaign, there's got to be like a little fallback for them. There has to be. There's no way they don't. I mean, the people who create these contracts don't think about that, because these celebrities are fucking weird, man. One day they're super cool, the next minute they're running people over in Ireland in 1983.
I guess they didn't have a clause for you shoot Aquaman 2, and then there's going to be a weird trial for several weeks that people watch and hear about you shitting in beds and fucking gaslighting your fucking husband.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no way. There's no way. Like the lawyers have not thought about this, which makes me think if they're just waiting out like judge shit or something like that. Who knows?
I'm not smart enough for legal shit.
Me neither. That's why I'm not a fucking lawyer.
No, like, at the end of the day, for that, she's still making money.
Yeah.
So is mind you, all of that's going to Johnny Depp at this point. But that's a whole other thing.
Wrecked.
And then no, he's gonna still make
it, but it's immediately going
to
pay off.
Yeah, it's going to the person that they fired and then replaced out of their movies, because Warner Brothers, when he made apparently an alleged thing, he instantly got fired. But Ezra Miller can go on a fucking illegal tirade and keep people locked up, but they'll still release the movie. But with like Johnny Depp, let's fire him. But like with Ezra Miller, they're like, should we actually fire him? People are gonna get upset with us if we fire him. It's just like,
Fee. You have an incredible Robert De Niro face. I just gotta let you know. When you do that, that was incredibly spot on.
But no, it's real, like, and I'm gonna say what I said in our channel and chat, that it's the trolley problem. It's Do we kill one person to save multiple, or do we save that one person, which I'm going to be honest, Warner Brothers is doing, so let's fuck everyone else and drive it through every single person who's going to be affected by this. Because it's not going to be Ezra Miller.
Mass murder.
because
Nope.
because at this point, like I don't even understand. Like there's nothing like justifiably okay with the situation. Other than them openly saying, "Hey, we're taking a hit and we're just donating to the people he fucking," because I don't know if anyone knows, he kept people locked at gunpoint in a like essentially at a farmhouse. And
What the fuck? Ezra
he was
Miller.
grooming, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, everybody." And we're just like, "What
I'm
the
sorry,
fuck
my mental health has deteriorated recently, causing me to kidnap people and put them in cages. Like, well, excuse me? The fuck?
He's attacking people
In several
public.
states. In several
States.
states.
Yeah, bullshit, dude. Your mental
Here's the
health is
thing.
not the problem. You're just a fucking weirdo.
People have mental health struggles, and they sometimes make very poor decisions and cause a lot of harm, and that's understandable. But also, there are consequences for your actions, regardless
Mhm.
of your mental state when causing them.
Yeah.
So, like,
I just don't
suck
like
it
that
up.
he's trying to hide behind. Well, we were just mentally no, motherfucker. Okay, we're not. This isn't a courtroom.
A lot of
Okay, you
people are mentally
can't plead
unstable.
insanity.
You're not special, honey.
You're not fucking special. Everybody has mental problems. We don't go around like holding people at gunpoint and grooming them, dude.
No, and I instead just drank this entire bottle while we were recording this podcast. So
Yeah.
like
True.
I don't get it.
Alcoholics are better than kidnappers.
I mean, let's look at the pros and cons here.
Yeah, that's right. Just
What is
do a
affected-
chart.
What's affected right now? My liver. What's affected by his choices? Dozens of
He's going to
hundreds
jail.
of
He's
Mass
getting
people.
on the paddy
hysteria.
wagon.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah, no,
Fucking hell.
it's very stupid, and I think Warner Brothers just needs to reevaluate everything that they've been doing recently.
Yeah, like Warner Brothers. Look inside. Think about yourselves. You know what I mean? Like, this is dumb. Just figure out something on this movie, because it's been like people trying to figure out why you're doing the things you were doing right now.
Guys, are they just really good at villain movies because they're actually the villain?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
There you go.
We've cracked the code.
Cracked the code
And
indeed.
last but not least, in our news for this week, Sly, tell me about whose birthday it is.
Well, yesterday was the one and only Percy Jackson's birthday.
Mhm.
And Rick Ryden did a blog post. We got to see a couple pictures from the set with all the kids. Very exciting. He gave a little info, and said that they're in the middle of filming, right? There's rough assembly of stuff, but not much to see. We'll probably see something in about a year, which means we're probably looking at early 2024 for release date for the show. I'm very excited. The kids are so cute. I'm so happy every time I see them. And yesterday the Empire State Building lit up all blue, which is a reference to a point in the books, and that was really fucking cool.
Mhm.
So,
By the way, in
happy
this
birthday,
story,
Percy Jackson.
Olympus is at the top of the Empire State Building. The entrance to Olympus is at the top of the Empire State Building.
On the same
On
web.
floor 600.
Oh, there you go. I love that in this blog post that you shared. One of the questions is, how old is Percy this year? And he said, yep, still 17. So
Wait, isn't he? He's 18. What the fuck?
Later it says, when will, or okay, it's the, what is Percy wishing for when he blows out his candles, and one of them is, and the author may someday allow him to turn 18, and then Rick's comment, don't hold your breath, buddy.
Yeah, because I thought he was 18 by the time of the new series, but I guess I'm wrong.
17 at the end of his last appearance.
Right here it says, how old is Percy? Yep, still 17. How is this possible? Percy's world exists in loosely defined present day. Percy's timeline is not tied to real time. It does not proceed at the same rate. It only advances as the actions of the book. I'm like, oh yeah. It's like how every book in Harry Potter is fucking a new year. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Harry Potter is very tied to what year it comes out.
Yeah, 100%.
This series is operating. It's like conditional. Like whenever you're reading is when it's happening, and it's not like some of the books take place over like a week, right?
Yeah,
and some of them are months, and
some of them are months. So it's fluctuating. So like it loosely exists as its own universe, and that's
just like there's small time skips, and that's really kind of about it.
Just like how Better Call Saul and the El Camino movie all exist still in like 2013, because it's just all still within 5 years of time that all that shit happens. So good. Yeah.
Well, that's it, guys. We did it. We're 2 hours and 30 minutes in.
All right.
I usually host long episodes. I'm sorry. I try to keep it going.
We had good conversations. That's all that matters.
Hell yeah, we did. There were some really good conversations today. I thank you all very much for being here, for taking out the time to talk about TV shows, movies, games, and media out there. We'll start with Sly. Sly, where can we find you? Where are you at on the internet?
Well, I used to be on TikTok Live on Thursdays, but I got banned, so no idea what's gonna happen with that. You can also find me on MC University. We're gearing up for season 2, banking up a couple episodes. I'm gonna kick that off with X-Men First Class. And then you can also find me on We'll Throw the After Party at After Party SHO everywhere for socials. And we are kicking off our She-Hulk coverage this week and still wrapping up Only Murders as we get to the last couple episodes of Only Murders. Next week, I think, is the finale. So, very exciting stuff going on over there on YouTube and Twitch every Saturday night.
Hell yeah. B, where are you on the internet? Where have you been?
Well, I haven't really been doing anything for the past 2 months, not gonna lie. But since all of this that I've like essentially put my full effort into is now over, I definitely am planning on doing more on the internet. I have been taking a hiatus not only on this podcast but on my other podcast, which is coming back, which is Speaking of Stadia, where we record and talk all about all things Stadia over on the Game Source Network over on YouTube. It is currently up in the air if we're going to be going weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, but that is over on their channel, so definitely make sure to check it out. If you're not already, make sure to follow us over at Speaking of Stadia on Twitter, so you can keep up to date on when we're going live. And I do plan on doing some Twitch streams once I get everything sorted out. I actually have this weekend off, so who knows? Maybe I'll do one this week. Maybe play some Naraka. So definitely check me out over there at twitch.tv/Ceranix.
Hell yeah. And Mario, where did you come from? Where did you go?
I don't know the rest of that song. So you can, of course, see where I came from every week here on the Point in Progress podcast. You can also find me over... What the fuck? I was reading the stream thing and it said, find me at Mario at twitch.tv. No, you can find me
twitch.tv/Mario.
I don't know. I just saw that too. You see that? It's kind of cool. You can, of course, find me at MC University. Yes, we're banking up episodes. I'm very excited about that. We'll be having guests on there very, very soon. You can also just find me chilling. I did a solo podcast last week because I still needed to do something on the stream. That was a lot of fun. Carlos and Kale showed up, as well as El Bobco in the chat. And then there was another... Oh, and Lebster showed up as well. So shout out to Lebster, who was doing some streams. Doing cool, which that's when I learned that his name is not Levstar, it's Lebster. So there we go. So I have now learned that. So yeah, that's where you can find me. I forgot. There's a bunch of other shit I started watching. I'm going to save that for next week. like She-Hulk.
Oh yeah,
I watched that. I totally forgot I did.
Write it all down right now.
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
I'm actually watch that after this while I eat my food back here. I ordered from this place called Moonflower House. It's fucking. They put a little guy on there, and they say your name on it. Look at that. Bam. It says Frank. You can't see it, but it's blurred out. But you can find me at I revived my TikTok. I forgot I did that. At the Frank GV, that's my TikTok name. Go catch my TikToks. I'm trying some new things. I'm trying to figure out how to make games look good on TikTok, like gaming clips and everything like that, instead of the way I've just been throwing a clip on there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find me there. You can find me at Point in Progress, and you can find me at twitter.com/thefrankgv, where I talk shit about video games all the time and TV shows, I guess. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for listening to our rambling. And guys, progress has been made.
Fucking shout out to Sue Bird.
Shout out to Sue Bird. Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Sue Bird.
R.I.P. Harv.
R.I.P. Harv. By the way, I forgot to mention this. If Harv
on the train.
So Harv 100% is now dead. That canon is over. We did create a replacement at FEMA for Harv. Kind of like the Westworld thing, you know what I mean? So he will be back, hopefully either next week or the week after, depending on if our tests go well.
Figure out the programming.
This is a completely AI generated Harv, so when you see him, take it with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? He might say some things that are like, that's not very Harv. He might just be a little bit weird. We don't know, but you know, he'll be back.
Yeah.
In some way.
In some way.